morning, y'all, and welcome to the Weekend Weird Files. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. This week got out from under me, and I couldn't really find anything that was weird to talk about this weekend. So we're going to jump in the time machine and we're going to go back a year, and we're going to listen to the Weekend Weird Files from this time last year. So let's listen. Good morning and welcome to the Weekend Weird Files. You know, I'm Andrea. I know how we're always talking about weird things happening in the human world or weird behavior from humans, and sometimes we say they behave like animals. Well, today we're going to talk about the weird behavior of animals.
Triple M Studios and Mystery Murder and Magic proudly present the Weekend Weird Files. Here's your host, Andrea.
Now, I'm the proud mom of a bearded dragon named Bridget. She's my pride and joy, y'all. I've had her for about 3 years. It'll be 3 years this November. And she's the coolest little animal ever, or I think so. Well, my friend Jackie, she lives out in Texas. She's been telling me for some time about the tiny baby horned lizards that they find around their property, and they're just too cute for words. But they do have a bizarre thing that they do. The horned lizard has many predators ranging from mice to wolves, so they have to protect themselves, right? Well, they can't always run very well, but their camo game is on point most of the time. But when that fails, they shoot blood, yes, blood, out of their eyes. It gets in their predator's mouth, and it must have some kind of like nasty tasting ingredient added to it. Because usually the predator spits it back out. That was a little fact about the horned lizard that I had never heard of. Now, you think it's rough trying to find your perfect mate, but just be glad you're not a male anglerfish. Female anglerfish are far and few between. So when the male, who is much smaller than the female of the species, finds his mate, he bites into her stomach and basically becomes fused there. Their bodies and their circulatory systems become one, and sometimes a female has up to 8 males fused into her body, and that's what we call clingy. Now, marine flatworms have male and female reproductive systems. Like, they have both inside one body, okay? And that can make things a little complicated for their species. So they have to decide who is going to be the mom when it's time to mate. And it can get a bit violent because neither one of them wants to do it. And that's because females need a lot more energy to make eggs than the males need to use to make sperm. The struggle is real, huh? But anyway, so what do they do to settle that dispute? They have a sword fight with their male organs. Yeah, just the visual that gives you. And the loser gets inseminated. So see, the struggle is real, y'all. And get this, the winner gets to swim away with no babies. Now, we all remember the Finding Nemo movie. The mom fish had died, leaving the dad, I believe his was Marlin, on his own to raise Nemo. Now, in real life, clownfish aren't far off from being like that. When the queen of the family dies, the male becomes a female. Yep, you heard me correctly. But it's not all of the males in the family. It's just the biggest male clownfish makes that transformation. Now, any other clownfish that's around, like the offspring of that female, would then mate with his mom, who used to be his dad. Switching into the marsupial world, there's this little mouse-like creature, and it's called, and I'm going to try to pronounce this, it's the Antechinus. It literally has sex until it disintegrates. In a 2 to 3 week time period, they literally mate nonstop. Right before that, his body has stopped producing sperm, so they have to get it all out. Now, some mating sessions can last up to 14 hours, but it starts taking its toll on the little creature because as exhaustion sets in, its fur starts falling out. He gets like internal bleeding. He gets gangrene. He goes blind and he drops dead. So I guess you could say he's good to the last drop. Don't shoot me now, okay? Now, did you know that the Komodo dragons can have parthenogenesis births? Now, what does that even mean? It means that they can give birth without ever having mated with a male. What happens is her eggs fuse with the materials in her body and it creates embryos. It happened once at a zoo and it really shocked the zookeepers because she had been kept from male dragons. Basically, the babies she gave birth to were her clones, sharing the same DNA as Mama Dragon. It's also been known to happen with a python and a swell shark. And then we have the cute little oxolotl. It's a part of the salamander family. If you've never seen one, be sure to check out the 3M Podcast Facebook page because I'm going to have a picture of one there just in case you've never seen one. They're so adorable, and unlike salamanders, the oxolotl keeps its external gills and stays in the water. This enables it to reproduce at a much earlier age. When they mate, they do a sort of dance, and the male drops a sperm packet that looks like a transparent Hershey's Kiss. And the sperm itself is the little paper flag. The female sits on it, and this fertilizes her eggs. So, that's the mating habits of the oxolotl. Now, we've all heard the phrase, sleep with one eye open. But did you know that dolphins actually do that? And while they're sleeping with that one eye open, half of their brain is still awake. This helps them to be on the lookout for predators while they're sleeping, and it also helps them to remember to breathe, basically. After about 2 hours of this, the two halves of the brain switch places, not literally, but the half that was asleep wakes up, and the half that was awake goes to sleep. Now, I mentioned the mating dance of the oxolotl earlier, but did you know that the bald eagle, they have their own little ritual type thing they do that while they're courting? A male and female will fly up really high in the sky and then they lock their talons together. After that, they start a free fall towards the earth and they do like all this tumbling, this acrobatic type stuff in the air. And at the very last minute, they break apart before they splatter the earth. Now, after that, they go and build a nest together, and in the time before they mate, they groom each other and they call out to each other. And I thought that was really sweet. Now, then they finally mate. Now, you know, the male of the bald eagles, they don't fly off and leave the mama to raise the kids. Bald eagles are together for life, so it's kind of like wedding vows till death do us part. Who said romance was dead? Well, really, that's all I've got for this weekend. I had planned on more, but I kind of like to keep this one and the midweek mini kind of shorter than the Monday episodes. But y'all have a great weekend, a happy Saturday to you, and don't forget to keep it weird.